The question now is, when the chance comes to you, what attitude do you take? Why I got into studio art in the first place was because I was sick. Now, I'm from Hong Kong, so you can imagine studying art is a no-go, especially 30 years ago. Because basically, I don't think anyone see art as a career, at least from Hong Kong's point of view. So I was always been interested in business, and I want to be in business. But then, because I was so sick in college, I ended up spending most of my time in college in hospital. And because I was in hospital, or at least at home, recuperating from my surgeries, I decided to find something that I can do even like off campus. And studio art was so happened to be one subject that, I don't have to be doing this on campus, and I actually kind of enjoying it. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to switch it to studio art. Well, because I was in hospital for like on and off for 3 years. And because of that reason, I ended up taking more and more classes in art. So by the time I graduated a year behind, I was a year behind in graduation. Can you imagine if I was completely a normal person? I think my parents would be very upset with me when they realize I'm going to be coming back to Hong Kong with a studio art degree. It's like, what is studio art degree? In fact, for a number of years, I would say for even probably the most 10 years after I came back to Hong Kong, I was too ashamed to tell people I graduated in art. Now, of course, today is a different story. Today, I'm very happy to tell you I'm a studio art major, because some of you will say, wow, maybe not you, but many friends of mine will say, wow, you're multi-talented. But seriously, the first 10 years when I came back, it wasn't the case. So I started to pretend to be someone else. I tell people I study business. I went to UCLA, which is not true, and I studied business. And, things start to carry on. So it's amazing that it wasn't until maybe a good 15 years later that I finally realized that actually, it was actually studio art that makes me different from everyone else. But it's really amazing when I was first elected into the first Legislative Council in 1998 after Hong Kong returned to China. And I got into politics not because I'm interested in politics, it's just at the time, you know how the legislature works in Hong Kong, where half the members in Hong Kong returned by so-called functional constituencies, and the other half by geographical. So Hong Kong, Kowloon, New Territories. So the functional constituency include banking, insurance, and accountants, doctors, nurses, and so on. And I'm in the insurance business, so I ran for the insurance. That's a long story how I get there too, but I'll skip that. Anyway, so I was very lucky. I was the youngest member. I got elected. And the story I want to tell you is 2 weeks after I got elected to LegCo, I was called into the president's office. The president of LegCo at the time is a lady called Rita Fan. Okay, so Rita summoned me into her office and said, "Mr. Chan, after 60 members, now we have 70, but back in 1998 we had 60 members in LegCo." He said, she said, after 60 members, you are the only one majoring in art. So it's like, is that a problem? Does that mean I'm not qualified to be here or something? So I kind of took by surprise. She said that. And I said yes. He said, well, you know what? Now this is 2 weeks after the establishment of the legislature, Hong Kong legislature, after the return to China. And the very first year, 1997, didn't count because we're the professional LegCo. In 1998 is the first time. So this is 2 weeks into the opening of the legislature. She said to me, you know what? We don't have a logo. You know what logo is? We don't have a logo. I said, oh yeah, because under the British, what's the logo for LegCo, legislature? It's a crown, and then a unicorn, and then I think it's this dragon, I don't know. It's something like that. So that was the logo, or the emblem of the legislature. And obviously we can't use that. So Rita said, okay. Rita said, well, since you study art, you are in charge. so then I told her, I said, listen, sorry, I do pointillism. That was my specialty area. I can't draw a logo. And she said, it's okay. Well, you're the only one. Close enough. So you're in charge. But then she also reminded me that this is not an easy job because I have to get all 60 legislators to approve it. And that actually turns out to be my first political lesson I learned, is to how to get all 60 people to agree to something. You know, when it comes to a design, I'm pretty sure even just within this room, if I give you a set of design, I'm sure each one of you will have a different take on which one is your preferred choice. So that was my first challenge. So I always tell this story again and again because it's a fascinating story. So the first thing I asked myself is, all right, yeah, basically the Hong Kong legislation is divided into two camps. The pro-China camp and the not so pro-China camp. If you're pro-China, you're red. But what about the not so pro-China? The pro-democratic group. Which color would they choose? Huh? Green is, you know, democracy. So right away I know that we got a problem because our legislation is divided into two camps. So, all right, so what about the design? For those who are more pro-China, they want a more Chinese design. And of course, for the not so pro-China, they say, well, we're in the national city, want a more international design. So what did I do? I ended up hiring a designer, a young designer, something, you know, very young, a one-man band, 26 years old designer. And I basically told him this, listen, absolutely no red, no green. When it comes to design, well, the best design is something in between. Can it be a little less, some Chinese and not so Chinese at the same time? So he came back with a bunch of design for me to choose from. If I'm going to present the 20 design to LegCo, it's called a host committee. Everyone get to vote. So we have 60 members and you got 20 designs. There's no way I can get everyone agreed. So you know what I end up doing at the end? This is my first political lesson I learned. That is, after 20 designs, I chose 2 designs to present to LegCo. And the one design I like, and the one design I know everyone hates. So anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, so the design of LegCo today is the design I chose. And what is it? Well, that's called democracy. You give them a choice, but then sometimes you're thinking about it, right? Choice is not easy. You know, everyone thinks they have a choice, but then they will never agree if you give them too many choices. So I'm going to show you in case you forget. So design is yellow because I decided. None of you seen this before? It's the yellow design, but inside the yellow is the character Chinese character La, and the English letter L. Because L is not legislation, so it's a combination of the two. So that was the one that I ended up presenting, and the one that I managed to get all 60 members to agree. So, and guess what? That was the first time I realized that, hey, you know what? My art degree wasn't so bad. Since then, I've also been appointed to chair the Antiquity Advisory Board in charge of Hong Kong Heritage Conservation. I got a phone call from it was Christmas, I think it was 2 days before Christmas. I got a phone call from the chief secretary. The chief secretary then, Rafael He, by the way, he's in jail today. But anyway, back then, he rang me up and said, we need you to be in charge of the heritage conservation. And I said to him, I said, you know, I know nothing about heritage conservation. He said, it's okay. Did you study art? I said, well, art and heritage conservation is not the same thing. No, you are the closest thing we can get. And guess what? You know why? Because before 2005, very few people in Hong Kong cares about heritage conservation. It's really only about around 2007 that this whole new movement started by the youth to call for the preservation of our past. But before that, nobody cares. But that all changed after 2008. So, and I happen to be in a place where, since because I study art, supposedly, I not exactly only care about money, right? Because it all comes down to, it's not about heritage, it's not about anything. It's always about where you can find the equilibrium, you know, because too much conservation probably not good for Hong Kong because Hong Kong have a scarcity of land. If you preserve everything, then where's the place for development? But in the past, we only care about development, all about money, and we care a little bit about history. So my job is actually to find that balance. It's easy to say balance, but how exactly that is. So over the years, and one after one, somehow because I'm in business, but yet because my art degree supposedly allows me to think beyond just about money. So after the heritage conservation, then I've been appointed to be the chairman for sustainable, it's called the Council of Sustainable Development. And obviously before that, I know nothing about sustainability either. So I've been giving a lot of chances to walk on issues that I have no experience in the past. But what really makes it make it works for me, and this is the message I told you early on, is the attitude. So every time when I've been put into a new challenge, I take the attitude that, okay, well, this may not be my first choice. By the way, none of those things I mentioned to you were my first choice. And my original first choice, I always wanted to be a banker, I want to be in finance and so on. I'm still in finance, but I can't say I'm very good at it, but I'm still, I am somewhat a banker. But actually what makes me really now special is the fact that I have a lot of experiences in third sector, whether it is social welfare, heritage conservation, to sustainability, to so on and so on. And so, and what really makes it, as I said earlier, what makes me different is there's nobody else out there doing that, right? And my attitude makes it different because when I was giving all these chances, now I could say, well, sorry, I'm not interested, right? I didn't want to go to electrical in the first place. But the chances came, I thought, well, what do I got to lose? So I gave it a shot. I never expected I'd win. After I won, then I realized I'm in trouble because I actually don't know about politics. One after each time, chances were given to me. But my options could be a few, right? Now, I ask the same question to you. I'm sure each of you have a dream career, a dream job. But my take is that probably less than 10% of you will ever get your dream job, right? I think that it's probably less than 10. So if you are that 10%, lucky 10%, you don't need to be in this room. You can leave now, right? You got what you want, right? So the question now is, what about those 90%? Now what do you do with your life? Now I come to the conclusion that you have three choices. Choice one, you continue to dream about that first choice, that dream job, right? Continue to dream for it. It will happen one day, good luck, right? Who knows, it might happen. Choice two, well, I don't exactly get that dream job, then, well, I better get on to something else. Because after all, you still have to make a living, you're not going to continue to dream about it. So, okay, I settle with something else. Okay? This is what happened to me. But the question then is, where the second and third choices are. Well, if you settle with something else, but what attitude do you take? Do you take the attitude of, well, okay, I'll do whatever it is now, and of course still dream about that first choice of yours? You could. Or the third choice, which is, all right, I'm stuck with this, not exactly very happy, but, oh well, I'll make the best out of it. And let me tell you, this is exactly the approach I did. My third choice, that is, okay, I didn't get exactly what I want, but since this is whatever, I might as well make the best out of it. And I think it is that attitude that keep opening the doors for me. Do you think I want to be in heritage? By the way, one of my last job, 2 years ago, which I finished, and the government now adopt my recommendation, is how to pick up garbage. The garbage disposal fee was the consultation exercise that I was in charge for. So a year and a half, I became a garbage expert, freaking out, how we throw our trash. Do you think that very exciting? I mean, I wish I can be seen as a super banker to appear to be in APAC meeting and Asian Banking Association. Instead, I'm always stuck with jobs that like doing garbage, doing this and that crap. But guess what? That's exactly what makes me so different and unique than everyone else. There are tons of great bankers. You know, I will never going to be the top bankers, but I'm so happy to be the garbage person in town. So seriously, let me ask you. So at your start of your career, if I were to tell you that, wow, this is the best job for you, I'll be lying. Because how do I know? How do I know what will be the best career for the future for you? Nobody knows. I'm sure you don't know too. The key thing is you got to possess that attitude that you're ready for anything, and you're not going to say no just because you feel that, oh, this is, you know, not so important. It's not going to make me rich, or it's not going to make me important. You know, if you take that attitude, I almost guarantee you'll never get anywhere because you're not willing to try. In my case, it started off because I didn't have a choice. I mean, I didn't get the chance to finish my degree in economics, so I figured out, okay, I'll settle with studio art. But I didn't realize that studio art opened so many new doors for me. You know, I never wanted to be in politics. I got into politics, and the politics opened so many more new doors for me, and so on, so on, so on. So it is really the attitude that I think create and open the doors for you. So I hope that, and I'm pretty sure that you already have walked that first step. The fact that you're here this evening, because nobody pushed you to come, you don't have to be here. The fact that you come, maybe Philip here for the free food. But I don't think so, right? I don't think so. But it is your attitude that you take the first step. You come. And you come not because of, oh, I'm expecting something in return. By the way, when I've been asked to do heritage conservation, sustainability, or garbage, frankly, I have zero expectation, because what is going to help me? It's not going to help me in my career, my financial career. You know, it's not going to increase my popularity, because I'm stuck with all these usually very divided topics, right? So if I take the very selfish, short-term attitude, then I'll say, stay away from it. What does it do? But instead, I figure out, well, I always remind myself, because from my experiences, you just never know. If you never try, if you not try hard enough, you don't know where this will lead you to. And that is what actually motivates me all the time when I've been asked to do some not so nice thing, such as, now I go back to politics, such as Philip alluded to, I'm now in charge of the campaign. So when my candidate asked me back in January to be her campaign manager, my first thought was like, oh, no, I don't want to do this. First, because I don't know how. Second, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up pissing off a lot of people, because like everything else in this town, it's very divided. So automatically, if I support one candidate, I'm going to piss off all the other people supporting the other candidate. And sure enough, my Facebook has more dislike than ever now. I used to have just a minor few. Now my dislike is almost almost close to half of my likes.
Really?
Oh yeah. So do I want that job? No. Just like most things in Hong Kong, nobody wants to do this kind of job, right? But then I ask myself, do I believe in what is in the best interest of Hong Kong? And I do at the end. But I don't expect that there will be anything good in return. But I figured out that, if I don't make that step, if I don't take advantage of that opportunity, you never know what that will lead me into something else. So that is always my attitude is, now obviously I'm not going to ask you to do something you don't want to do. It's something that is illegal, obviously, you don't want to do it. But if this chance comes, even though on surface it might not be attractive, on surface you thought, gee, what is that good for me? I would say, listen, don't always look at the short-term gain. You never know what this will end up helping you in the long run. So I came back to this story. When I graduated in 1988 with an art degree, I never thought that my art degree would get me anything. It was 20 years later that I finally realized that, thank God, I was a studio art degree major. Because that's what really made me special than anyone else. How many studio artists you know in the room? Right? So this is what made me different. Every time I go to a situation when I meet someone new, I speak the same stories, and it always fascinates everyone because I am different. And again, the studio degree is not about, oh, gee, whether I'll be good in drawing or not. It's what did they teach me? It teach me to think out the box because my style is the impressionist, so I create things, and it allows me to always think out the box. So why would I, if I were to approach anything, how would I look at it? So my studio art degree allows me that. Now, I'm not convincing you to change the degree to studio art. What I'm just saying is, don't ever underestimate anything that comes across your life. We just never know. We just never know when they will come into good use. It may not be to you today something worthwhile, such as coming to this event, this small talk circle, like, I don't want to be fitted. But you just never know. The people you meet in this room, the people, hopefully me, hopefully my talk inspire you, who knows? But if you don't take that first step, if you don't come to this event or any events, the opportunity is tons. There's always events or so many events out there, but it's only until you take advantage of that. And that itself will open new doors. And those new doors will open more new doors, and guess what? You might one day realize that this is what you want. So I hope that you continue to take advantage of these type of opportunities given to you. Meeting new people. Don't ever look down on people. You just never know who they are. They might become very important to you one day. This is the approach I do. Because hey, if you think that I only talk to the guys important, well, you'll be surprised. The people that help me most are always the people that on surface are least important. So please, that attitude is the most important one. Yeah. Whatever it takes you to be successful, again, successful, it's different for everyone. Everyone has a different, definition to success, being successful. But what is more important is that attitude that you possess. So I hope that you continue to come back, and I want to thank Philip for giving the students this opportunity, and the mentors, because the mentors are very important, because you need the mentors to help you, not help you, but to share the experience with you, just like I share with you. So by the way, my story keep repeating itself, so you should really talk to your mentors, because your mentors probably have even more fantastic stories to tell you. But I just want to say thank you again for 677. See, one thing I learned as a politician, we make sure that we timely finish our speech so that we don't bore everyone else. But thanks again, Philip, for giving me this chance to speak to your audience. Thank you.
This young man, younger than me, every time I listen to Bernard, I get something new. I think we met about 25 years ago.
We did?
Playing tennis. Okay.
This is to prove that again. 25 years ago, when I met him, I thought, he's a guy I met in the tennis court. No big deal. Turns out that this guy had tons of connection in China, so it was through him that I actually get to meet with Chinese leader. So you never underestimate the people you meet. And I thought he was just a tennis player, but he's more than a tennis player.
Wow, thank you, Bernie. There was, some kind of testimony, isn't it? Thank you, thank you. You know what? It's a lot of things, in that 25 minutes. Very spiritually uplifting 25 minutes. But if you forget, everything that he said, one thing you should actually take away with you tonight, which is, no matter who you are, what your major is, what your background is, you can do a lot of things that you don't think you can do. Look at this person right here, right? Very important in Hong Kong government, and Hong Kong. It's a society. We need people like Bernie. Studio artist, visual artist, politician, very successful business person, garbage man. What is that? Conservation specialist, right? Sustainability. You name it. His plate is pretty full. So one day I hope you guys, You know, I mean, tonight, you go and think about it, say, I'm going to be, like Bernard Chen. One day, I can do a lot of things.
You can.
Yes, you absolutely can. To help people in Hong Kong, to help your neighbors, to help the poor, the downcast. I mean, what do you call it? The outcast and the downtrodden. Okay? Yeah, exactly, and underprivileged. So don't ever underestimate what you can do. Even though you're in physics, in biochemistry, whatever, you can do a lot of things outside your sphere. Okay? So that is the one thing you should take home with you tonight.